Mr. Singh, it's story time.
Yes, but I didn't say I'd dress up for all the stories, did I?
Yes, you did.
I did not say that.
Yes, you did. You have to do
I said
it.
I would read the stories and sometimes, but not like this.
But do it anyway.
No, I don't want to do it.
You have to.
Okay. This is so not what I signed up for. Hi, boys and girls. This week's story is about the pea and the princess. Hello, I'm King Singh. I'm here today to talk to you about how a pea helped find my daughter-in-law. This is the story of the pea and the princess. Many years ago, a pea was born in a palace allotment among rows of carrot and beetroot and cabbage out in the royal garden. The pea nestled snugly in a velvety pod with its brothers and sisters. It felt a tingle. It knew that somehow this pea would be very important. The time came for the pea to go to the palace kitchen. All the peas were shelled and put in a bowl. The peas were to be part of a new recipe. Then suddenly, one pea, my special pea, was picked from the pile. It was put in a little box with a soft tissue to protect it from bruising. And it was taken to my wife, the Queen. At this point in the story, I'm going to have to give you some background and information. Let me start with my wife, the Queen. A year earlier, before the pea even grew as a pea plant, the Queen had been nagging our son, "You have to be married. You're nearly 34 years old. Prince," she said, "it's really high time you were married. The public expect it. Your kingdom demands it. And if you're not married within the year, I will stop giving you pocket money." And my wife, the Queen, nagged and nagged. The prince got quite a lot of pocket money, and he really didn't want to lose any of it. "Okay, Ma, I'll start looking for a bride immediately, Mother," he answered. Well, I knew I was pretty happy about him looking for a bride as well. And the search began. But my son was so fussy. Too loud, too quiet, too funny, too grumpy, too sleepy. Just like my wife, the Queen, could not make up his mind. Too scruffy, too tidy, too picky, too scary, and it went on and on and on. The prince travelled the known world across my entire kingdom. He met princesses of all shapes and sizes with a wide range of hobbies and interests. None of them really seemed right somehow. After years, the prince returned home feeling glum. "Right, that's it," he said. "Right, that's it," shouted the Queen. She stormed off to the palace kitchen. She came back with me and brought the little pea in the box we had put away. "Now," said the Queen, "listen carefully. This is something only a queen knows," she said. "A real princess will be able to feel this little pea as she sleeps, even if she is sleeping on top of 20 mattresses and feather beds. And you are going to marry the first girl who can feel this pea. Do you understand, son?" Dutifully, our son agreed. Months passed. The pea spent most of its nights in darkness under a pile of 20 mattresses and feather beds, and on top of all that, a princess. In the morning, each princess would be asked, "And how did you Sleep, my dear. The Queen would come. How did you sleep last night, my dear? The princesses had been properly brought up. They always answered politely. Oh, like a log. Thank you, Mom. Oh, like a baby. Thank you, Mom. And they all said, what a comfortable bed. They said, as I said, all very politely. But the Queen said, the prince will never find this princess at this rate. She thought to herself, I must help somehow. The little pea listened to all this in this little box and decided it would help the next beautiful princess that came to the castle. One night, a furious storm raged. Rain lashed the palace. Thunderlaps shook the walls. Lightning flashed through the window panes. There was little knock at the palace door. A small and wet person stood on the doormat. Could this be the real princess? Gasped the Queen. Before she could say a word, the small wet person was put to bed on top of the 20 mattresses and the feather beds, and with the pea, of course, underneath. In the darkness under the mattress, the pea recognised the soft snoring of the princess. I must help, thought the pea. The snoring carried on a little bit. The pea knew, the special pea knew, he must do something, and thought desperately, what can I do? The little pea inched its way out to the edge of the mattress, then started to climb up the 20 mattresses and the feather beds, and slowly struggled to the top of the pile. It softly rolled across the pillow right to the princess's ear while she was sleeping. The princess awoke and stirred. The pea was doing its job, and as the princess would nod off, falling asleep and snoring, the little pea would roll next to her ear and awaken her. The princess was most uncomfortable. The little pea had done its job. The next morning, the Queen asked the girl, how did you sleep last night, young lady? Oh, it was awful, she sighed. Something large and round, uncomfortable was bothering me all night. It was so hard to sleep. The Queen smiled. The King was happy too. And as agreed, the young prince was to marry the beautiful princess. The wedding was very grand. The Queen was interested to meet the new prince's family, and I'm sure they all lived very happily. And as for the pea, well, it became very important. And now the pea is in a glass case. I keep that pea, said the King, on display, and it's in our Royal Museum, and I look at it every day and thank this little pea for bringing the princess to me, King Sing.